Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the private pilot license, some information that I wish I would have known before I got it, and just some general tips that might help you that I thought a lot of information online on YouTube really didn't have. So let's get started. The first thing I want to mention is the price. So that's a big concern uh, that everybody has, of course. And usually online they advertise that it will cost between $6,000 to $7,000. In my experience, it cost me between 10 and 13. So just taking a grain of salt what people say online, and it all depends on how long it takes you to get your private pilot. Because in my case, it took me a span of 2 years, and I was taking a couple of lessons, a couple months for let's say a month. I'll take 3 or 4. I'll stop taking a couple of months and then go back again, and so on. And I think that is a terrible way of doing it. I would highly recommend just focusing 100%, trying to do it within 3 or 4 month time frame, and just get it out, just get it done. The reason I say that is because every time you stop and go back, you will need one lesson or two extra just to get into the mood again and into the rhythm. And again, that's money you spent that you probably didn't need to spend if you just took it, straight ahead and kept on going with it. Some resources I would recommend people buying, which I'm sure your instructor will tell you, but things that I would have bought prior to even starting taking lessons. The first one is FAR, AIM, Federal Aviation Regulation. Again, it's a really bulky book. You don't need it. You don't need the whole thing. There's a couple sections inside that you have to actually know, because it will be part of your oral examination as part of the private pilot license. So that's one book you should probably get and buy and read the sections that are needed. I'll put some links in the bottom of this video that you can take a look at. I'll talk about the sections that you need to know, because you don't need to know everything inside this book, as I said. The second one is Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. This is a really great resource, even if you don't want to get your private. It's just good information to know about aerospace aeronautics if you're interested in that field. It's not that big. I mean, I would actually read the whole thing. So it's a pretty good book, and a lot of the information from this book will be on your written test. Another resource, let me just get it from my bag right here. Another resource that is extremely good is this course, Learn to Fly course from sporties.com. It's $250. It has 6 CDs inside. You can open it and take a look at it. It has 6 CDs inside. Each one will talk about a specific portion in the phase of the whole private pilot, because initially you'll just train within the area, and then you'll have night flight, and then cross country. You need to understand the weather, and there's a ton of information for the whole private pilot license. And in this course, I would highly recommend buying it even before even starting taking classes or anything like that. When you take this course and then you tell your instructor that you already taken it and read it and understood it and studied it, he will give you the signature needed to go get your written test. And Sporties also offers a bunch of questions, practice problems that will be almost exactly on the exam, so highly recommended. And speaking about the whole learning or training experience, people ask me, is it difficult? Is it easy? What would you say? I always say it's an equivalent of like a certificate. When you go take a certificate from a college, you typically take 4 courses, right? I would say it's roughly that difficult, because it's certainly not easy. It's a not an easy thing, and you know, it should be pretty obvious, right? I mean, you're flying an airplane. It requires a lot of skill, a lot of experience. Eventually, you'll gain it. You really need to want to do it, and you should be really passionate about it. I think if you are passionate and you have a really good instructor, I think that will help you extremely. In my case, I had three different instructors. I started in Arizona, then moved to South Carolina, and I finished it right there. I think that made me, it made it a little bit more difficult just because I got used to my original instructor, and then when I changed instructor, and actually not to mention a couple in between, I took like one or two in between. You need to get used to your instructor, and that would require you taking more classes and so on. The general requirement you need, per the FAA, you need 40 hours of flying time logged in your logbook. That's the minimum, and the average nation average is, I believe, 60 to 65 hours. For me, it took me almost 90 hours. And again, as I mentioned, just because it took me a big span of 2 years. I changed instructors. I moved from one job to another. So keep that in mind. Again, if you want to do it, just go do it and get it done with. I think in that case it will cost you way less. Sorry, not way more, way less. What else? I would say some pros of it. It's definitely a great skill to have, especially if you're in the engineering field or aerospace, aeronautics. If you want to go into engineering school, if you're still high school, you're trying to go into engineering. It's a great skill to have. It's pretty prestigious, right? You're a pilot. People will appreciate that. You'll gain a little bit more appreciation for pilots and flying in general. So that's pretty. That's some good pros of the whole experience. Some of the cons, it's pretty expensive, so you need to keep that in mind. If you don't have extra money, if you don't need to do it, I mean, probably wait until you have the opportunity, you have the money to do it. So keep that in mind. Other than cost, I mean, there's really nothing negative about it. It's a great experience. It's a great thing to have for your career, future career, or even your future life. I mean, it's just a nice hobby. You can take your family or friends flying, and see. It's a great view from up top. Look at the terrain, the different states you travel to. You can go rent an airplane for an hour or two, and then just go fly and get an understanding and a feeling of the area around you. It's way better, obviously, than just driving car around and checking it out. From flying, it's a different exposure and a different feeling and understanding of really the area that you live in or you visited in general. I hope I didn't forget anything. Again, as I mentioned, I'll put a bunch of links down the video, so that could be probably helpful for you if you want to go this route. If you have any questions, or if I'm sure I forgot a ton, it's just a really quick video. Just put them in the comments and I'll try and answer them if I can. I hope you enjoyed this video.